Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are coming at you with a brand new series. We're going to be reviewing Ozark episode by episode. Phenomenal show. All my friends tell me I got to watch it. We're finally watching it, and we're going to be catching you guys up every step of the way. So episode 1, it's called like Applewood or some shit like that. It's a classic, dude. I like it, dude. I like the premise that they're introducing right off the bat, dude. We got Marty McFly, dude, in the building, and kind of bumming me out, dude. Early on, very much of a bummer. He's viewing porn in the office, dude. I do not condone that. I don't think that's very ethical. As a financial advisor, dude, I do not like that kind of behavior in my business, dude. Fire that guy. But he's good at what he does, so, we shrug it off.
It's his business, isn't it?
Oh, it is? Yeah, dude, he's an independent financial advisor, I think.
Right.
You're right, dude. So he's the big hoss.
But like doing this with clients in the office with him, that's not a great idea. You know what I mean? Like he's not locked in.
He's not locked in, dude.
So, Marty and his best friend, these guys, they're trying to like relocate buildings. They're trying to like expand and all this shit, yada yada.
They're making money moves, dude. I'm just like, okay, wow, like
they really are.
And this is different, dude. I was expecting sort of like a Breaking Bad formula where like, oh, they're just gonna take like a pathetic character who like still cares about his family and he's like redeemable and they're gonna like turn him into Al Capone, like kind of like what they did with Walter White. But it's different because like he's already in a position of power, like right off the bat, and he's rolling, dude. He's rolling the dice. He's making things happen, and he can like talk his way out of situations very well. Like we find that early on, dude.
Right.
He has a little run-in with what's Mr. Del Rio, dude?
Yes, Mr. Del Rio. So very early, you're already seeing like great storytelling with
dude.
how they're building out the episodes. We see Marty's friend hand him that pamphlet to go on vacation or to go to the Ozarks, right?
Yeah, dude.
Because he's like, oh, you should go here with your wife.
Which is the title of the show, dude. I love when they do
right.
that.
Well, yeah. So
it's a good
coincidence. No, it's because he's having marital issues with his wife, right? So he's like, oh, this would be a good place for you to go.
Right, dude.
But that ends up getting him. It saves his life, basically. That pamphlet and him being able to talk his way out of that situation.
Dude, and he completely reworks it, dude. Like he was like, I brought this to this dude. Like he didn't bring it to me. Like he flipped it around, dude. Which shows like he's able to think quickly on his feet. And his like brain is his best weapon. Like he's not someone to like fight out of a situation. He's like the intellect arguing out of like this chess match. You know what I mean?
And what's interesting is this show starts. It's completely ramped up. Like I would compare it to like season 4, or is it like late season 3 of Breaking Bad, where it's really ramping up between Gus and Walter White. Like we already have Mr. Del Rio, who's like clearly the villain here,
the mob boss,
right.
Dude. He is running the cartel,
and like we've already seen Marty's friends get killed. His family has been threatened. He has been threatened. His life. He almost lost his life. Like the stakes are already as high as they possibly can be, and the pressure is completely on him to make things happen, which is like at the height of what Breaking Bad was with Walter White and Gustavo. So it'll be interesting to see how this series develops. Like, is that pressure always going to be on, or maybe does he end up proving himself to Del Rio, gets him that money back, doubles it? I forget exactly what Del Rio wanted with like making all the money. Some
crazy amount of money that he wants, though.
Well, he was like, I'll let you keep your car because the car was going to pay off like the extra 1,000 that he was missing. But he was like, you can keep the car. I think he even said like, I'll let you keep some of this to pay me back double, or I don't know. It was some crazy stuff. So it's like if Marty ends up proving himself and gets this deal done, what is this? I mean, obviously this is probably going to turn into a like long and fruitful relationship then. But then how does their relationship develop? Is it still like pressure's completely on Marty, where this guy's threatening to kill him, or is it like, okay, now we're just kind of like business partners? Pressure and tension kind of settles down for a little bit.
Dude, and I don't remember being hooked by a show as quickly as this one. Like right off the bat, we're in the action, dude. We're invested in the main character. He's a character with flaws, but I think that's what makes him interesting. And like, I'm familiar with the location of like Lake of the Ozarks. We have friends and like people we know who have like vacation houses on Lake of the Ozarks. So it's like, whoa, like. This is going to be very interesting to see how this develops kind of in our neck of the woods where we're from a little bit. You know what I mean? Like Albuquerque, Breaking Bad, not too familiar with like the southwest part of the United States. But the geography right in our home base, dude, right in our backyard. Exciting to see.
And I think it also adds another element because Breaking Bad being in Albuquerque, it's like, okay, this is just like desert, not a ton of people.
It's Wild
There's just like,
West, dude.
they did Wild West, kind of like junkies all over the place. It's like Lake of the Ozarks. This is the number one tourist destination. Everybody's coming here for in the summer with their family and their friends, college people, families. Like, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of different a very different vibe there, and with like characters that they meet along the way throughout this show. It's not just. I feel like that in that way it will be very different to Breaking Bad. Not in a bad way. I think it'll be pretty interesting.
Dude, I think it'll set the stage for creating this dynamic of like these very successful and well-developed families, but then sort of this dark underbelly of like the reality of some of these families and how dark it really gets. And I think they'll play that dynamic really, really well, and it'll be interesting to see how it develops as the show goes on.
Right,
later in the
almost
season.
like how they were laundering the money for Del Rio. I don't know if exactly Marty was in it, but obviously his friend was. But like completely goes over like everybody's head, like completely untraceable, almost like the car wash in Breaking Bad. I feel like there will be a lot more of like completely two separate worlds where like nobody really knows
Mm,
what is truly happening at Lake of the Ozarks. Nobody
right,
knows exactly what Marty's doing. It's gonna look there's a whole complete facade that I wish we got to see more of that in Breaking Bad because I really liked it when they
right.
did run the car wash. I really liked that stuff
Because it,
where
it puts the stakes into perspective. I love when they
Mhm.
toss around dollar amounts and like sort of like the threat of like this like lifestyle that like everybody's familiar with, but there's this underbelly that's like very dark and very intense and the suspense is very high. And that's what's so exciting about it is like we're already introduced to this world where like we're given money amounts, we're given the stakes, we're given like this dude's perspective of what success means, what his job and career have meant over the years, and now it's all being flipped on its head, and he's going to try to make his money back. So
right. I think it's very important to, if you're going to introduce like a villain right off the bat, like you can't make much more of an impact than they did with Mr. Del Rio. Like
right,
having him kill four people.
dude, and I love the weird twisted tale that he tells when
Yes.
he's killing people, and he talks about I forget her name, but it was some
Oh, it's the
girl
analogy with his dad's like
like
maid
employee
or
or
yeah,
like the
and one of
cashier or
his
something
dad's
like that.
employees. I really like that.
Yeah,
It's
that
an
was very
interesting
interesting.
way of dialogue because you know exactly what he's going with how like he's asking these questions.
Right. And you
And
see
it's just
Marty
really
actually answers it correctly,
right.
which is very
Yes.
interesting, and that's kind of why he gets let off is because and I wasn't expecting that answer, honestly. Like when I
Mhm.
was watching it for the first time, I wasn't expecting the answer to be because he knows that she stole from him in the past. I was like, "Oh,
Right.
that's like kind of genius." Like that wasn't the
Hmm.
first time that she did it. That was the first time she got caught, which
Exactly.
is very interesting.
Yeah, and so then I think that really makes Del Rio think like, okay,
Right.
like I respect it, and he's gonna keep this guy around. And so yeah, I think like what I'm most interested in is how that relationship and that like plot point, because that's obviously what the whole show's about. They're moving to the Ozarks because Del Rio is threatening to kill him, forces them out, basically makes Marty work for him. So that obviously is huge to see how that develops. But what's also cool is this show does already have some other plot points developing, like the family relationship and his dynamic with his wife very interesting. Again, if you
Right.
compare it to Breaking Bad, it's already like the tension
It's
with
so on edge. Like
um
it's not stable ground for
what's
like
what's her name from Breaking Bad, the wife.
oh
I forget.
dude, what
But
is
like
her name, bro?
I can't remember.
Happy
But like
birthday, Mr. President. Dude,
that's weird. That
that
was
was
so
that was
weird.
a weird moment.
But no, so like it's Walt in her relationship as the seasons went on and as Walt got deeper and deeper into this, their relationship got further damage. But like
Right.
again, this show is kind of fast forwarded, like I said, to like around late season 3 of Breaking Bad, where there's already so much tension between him and his wife. Like his wife, he finds out
Yeah.
his wife cheated on him
Yeah.
and he's like, I could have cheated on you so many times. Like that's what he was on the phone saying that, and it's
Yep.
like, and so it's just like, how is that going to develop? Plus, they got two kids that they need to worry about too.
Who are just
Um,
completely in the dark. And they're going
right.
through
Yeah,
like this teenage phase where they're very much a part of the family and vocalize their opinions, but really
Mhm.
have no stake in like what happens.
I do like the two kids' characters so far. Like I think they're decently compelling from what we've seen.
Yeah, the boy
But
cracks me up, dude. I feel like he's gonna have
the-
some funny moments.
yes,
'Cause he's
I
kind
think
of like a
so.
nerd outcast, and the sister's sort of like the popular girl in school.
Right. But I think I really hope
It's
this
like
show
Stranger Things, dude. You seen Stranger Things?
yes.
Yeah, dude. It's like
Yeah.
Mike and what's her name, dude? Uh,
11?
no, the sister. Like
Oh,
in season one, it's like it's
I no,
Mike
no, I
and
got you. I got you.
yeah, dude.
Um, but I really hope this show explores like the relationship in the dynamic with the kids, and I hope the kids do have a little bit more of a focus because like we talked about in Breaking Bad before, Walt Jr. like he doesn't have a lot of moments to shine. Like it's mostly it's him at the kitchen, table talking,
Right.
eating breakfast. You have the one good scene with him where he goes over to Walt's apartment and like checks on him and they have like a really intimate
He's really
conversation.
just a character to humanize Walt. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
they do have a really good relationship together.
But like I feel like when you have kids that are in the middle of the Lake of the Ozarks, like where are they gonna go to school? Like are they going to school? What exactly are they gonna be doing here every day?
Right.
I think there's a lot more that you can explore with the two kids here. Like are they gonna have some actions that have consequences for Marty? What is their relationship gonna?
It's going to be
How is
very
that gonna
interesting.
develop with Marty and the wife? So I think that's something I hope that they explore a little bit more than Breaking Bad did. Because I don't think I really liked Walt Jr. I think he did a good job acting. I liked his character. Don't really think they fully explored that as much as they
And we
could.
don't really know much about his like personal life. Like it'd be interesting to see if they weave plot points like they're in their separate world but somehow they get intertwined. Like we never
Yeah.
really saw that with Walter Jr. Like he went over to his friend's house. He like lived his life. He hung out with Hank sometimes, but it never really meshed with Walt's plot very much other than humanizing him like I said earlier.
Exactly, and and that's why I really think the show. It seems like they're setting up to have a better chance to do those things. So I'm just hoping that they do kind of follow through with that. It'd be a little unfortunate if we have now. Not only do we have one kid now, we have two kids versus in Breaking Bad you only had one, and if they're just going to be like complete ancillary pieces of this story that aren't really used much.
Right.
Like I think you can really make the show stand out and really develop a lot of different cool and unique stories if they have a little bit more of a
It's
focus.
going to be exciting to see what happens in episode 2 for sure. I like when they played that song that really captured the moment and they slowly zoomed out, dude, and it's them like overlooking the Lake of the Ozarks. And it
I
really
like
is
that.
like a beautiful shot, dude. Like their
Yeah,
family just like out there just living, dude. It's very,
right.
very exciting
It's
stuff.
like who knows what the future holds now. It's like it's really compelling to see what direction that they're gonna take this.
Dude, absolutely. Any bold predictions before we watch episode 2, Ryan?
Oh, bold predictions! Wow.
That's
I mean,
that's a big bar to chew off of, you know.
yeah,
It's
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that Marty is gonna. Actually, I don't know. I was gonna say that I predict Marty to complete this request of Mr. Del Rio, but I almost feel like I think I'm gonna flip that.
mm,
I'm gonna say he doesn't get this. Doesn't get again. I forget the exact logistics of what Mr. Del Rio wanted, but I'm actually gonna flip it. Which I didn't think I was gonna do, and say he doesn't
interesting.
get it done because I think they need to re-raise the stakes.
Right.
Just because, like I said earlier, if Marty completes this, gets the debt completely pays off, and already starts to get this business up and running where Mr. Del Rio is going to be able to make more money, I said earlier, like, does this just turn into a natural partnership where, like, sure, Mr. Del Rio is still kind of like the villain, but, like, Mr. Del Rio is not threatening to kill him anymore. Like, things are working great already. You know what I mean? I feel like
Right.
you can't. I feel like you can't really have things go that great immediately. I feel like you need Marty to struggle to get things set up in Lake of the Ozarks and really maybe get close again to Mr. Del Rio taking him out and him convincing him, saying, "Hey, give me a little bit more time, and I'll make this even better." Maybe he's like, I'll double it again," and then like goes hard at it and makes even more money.
Interesting stuff, dude. I think, yeah, all right, I'm going to go with a very bold prediction here, and it's kind of akin to Breaking Bad's plot, but I think he's going to end up killing Mr. Del Rio by the end of season 1. and it'll just
Okay.
completely shift the dynamic of the show. And I think
Okay.
what they're trying to do is subvert our expectations. So I think we expect this like deal and this relationship to like be existing for the rest of the show, right? Because they're setting this like very compelling plot up, but I think a
Yeah.
bunch of shit is gonna hit the fan, and it's gonna develop like crazy and spiral
Well,
out of control.
and I agree because I think again part of like my prediction too of why I don't think it's gonna go well right off the bat is I think shit almost has to hit the fan like again
Right.
because he's almost got all the money back. I think things have to go wrong here. Really raise the stakes of Mr. Del Rio, and maybe eventually he does pay back Del Rio, and it's working well for a while, but it turns into one of those things where it's like who gets each other first, kind of like Walt and Gus had.
Mm-hmm.
Where yeah, I do think that's a good prediction that Marty is gonna have to eventually take out Del Rio because he knows like nothing I can do for this guy's good enough. This guy's also just like a genius. But then it'll be interesting to see when if Del Rio goes down, what exactly happens plot wise after that.
Right, dude.
I think they can take it a lot of different directions, and we have like no indication of where they could go with it. But I feel like you could find a lot of different ways to go.
Absolutely, dude. All right, well, tune in for the next episode. We'll be reviewing episode 2 after we watch it here on the channel. As always, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what shows or movies you'd like us to review next, and we will see you in the next one.